Sanji might be the kind of conqueror One Piece has been hiding in plain sight. And in this video, we'll go over why Sanji could unlock CONQUEROR'S HAKI in Elbaf, and why that's not just possible, it's inevitable, by unpacking what CONQUEROR'S HAKI really means, why Elbaf is the perfect place for Sanji's beliefs to be tested, and why Sanji's kindness might be the boldest willpower in the entire series, allegedly. Sanji might be number 4, but this theory is going to convince you he deserves to be at the top. That's number 3. Let's get into it. Most people think CONQUEROR'S HAKI is only for the strongest fighters, the top of the top, like Luffy, Kaido, or Shanks, Giga Chad, Fist Demons who orbit in every power scaler's mind rent-free. But that's not the full story. CONQUEROR'S HAKI is officially described as the power to overpower the wills of others. That's a key phrase, wills of others. So this isn't just about strength, it's about leadership, conviction, that Sigma grind set energy. There's another aspect to this pattern though, and that's how each person with CONQUEROR'S HAKI has their willpower uniquely grounded in a specific principle. For Luffy, it's about freedom and protecting his friends. For Zoro, it's about loyalty and ambition. For Yamato, it's about him wanting to spiritually ride Odin 24/7. Each one has a unique way that their will clashes with the world around him. So the question is, what is Sanji's way? Sanji has always been about kindness. He cooks for strangers, he refuses to hit women no matter what. He even risked his life to protect people who abused the fuck out of him. He is a better man than I am because obviously I'm way too petty for that shit. His values haven't changed since Baratie, and this isn't just personality, it's his willpower. Sanji doesn't bend to those rules, and every time someone's tried to force him to, like every female in the series, he resisted. So if CONQUEROR'S HAKI is about people who can't be broken, then Sanji definitely fits that mold. His way of not folding just looks different. It's through care and self-control. And here's where Elbaf fits in. This place, unsurprisingly, is teeming with fables, myths, legends, and Lego blocks. A land where honor and will decide everything. But under that, there's a deeper theme, breaking old myths to create new truths. So in this arc, I expect Sanji to demonstrate that he's more than just a fighter. He challenges the idea that only the loudest or strongest can change the world. If Luffy stands for freedom and Zoro stands for ambition, then Sanji stands for compassion. And perhaps you stand for liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and ringing the notification bell if you're enjoying the theory so far. That brings us to the real core. What if Oda is preparing to redefine what a conqueror actually is? Instead of saying, only those chosen by the heavens get this power, it's saying anyone with an unshakable will can. And if Sanji gets his moment in Elbaf, standing 10 toes down, refusing to compromise his kindness, even under extreme pressure, then that's his version of, oh, I'm about to lock the fuck in with CONQUEROR'S HAKI in a minute, this bitch. It wouldn't be an exception. It would be the new standard, the new identity of a conqueror. Speaking of identity, if CONQUEROR'S HAKI is linked to it, then what kind of moment would it take for Sanji's identity to be tested and for his will to go full-on apeshit? So if his will has always been strong enough to make him a good candidate to awaken CONQUEROR'S HAKI, then what's the holdup? Why hasn't he awakened CONQUEROR'S HAKI yet? Let's consider the types of challenges Sanji has faced. In Baratie, he fought for his place in the world when he decided to leave the restaurant in pursuit of his dreams to find the All Blue. In Alabasta and Water 7, he supported his crewmates while he stuck to his guns. In Whole Cake Island, Sanji was out there having a full existential crisis like, do I trauma bond with my toxic family or stick with a bunch of people I met a couple of months ago that treat me way better? These are all intense situations, but they still centered on personal survival or protecting others. What Sanji hasn't faced yet is a moment where his values directly clash with the values of an entire society. A situation where his kindness, empathy, and personal code are seen as a threat to the system around him. That kind of pressure, standing firm not just for someone, but I guess something bigger, is what I feel would trigger CONQUEROR'S HAKI. Take Luffy, for example, where his first major awakening of CONQUEROR'S HAKI outside of the whole Duval situation was protecting Ace, defying the world government. Zoro's CONQUEROR HAKI awakening in Wano highlights the survival of the fittest theme, showing societal pressure to be strong or face death, and his dedication to becoming the world's greatest swordsman driven by promises to Kuina and Luffy, and mastery of Enma, demonstrate that death shouldn't limit or deter him from his goals. Yamato awakened his CONQUEROR'S HAKI as a child, rebelling against Kaido's control and ideology and Saido Nagashima. So now the question is, what happens when Sanji finally finds himself up against a system built to break people like him? This is where Saint Sommers comes in. He is not just a celestial dragon and a god's knight. He is the embodiment of everything that sucks about the world government. twisted, theatrical, and almost comically sadistic. Dude is in his villain era with no redemption arc in sight. He's the type of guy who thinks pain is a form of love and treats culture like it's gentrification season. And he's loud and proud about that shit. In other words, he is the complete ideological opposite of Elbaf's warrior honor, and most importantly, Sanji's personal code, which holds that kindness as a form of strength. So if Sanji fights Sommers, it's not about winning. It's about holding the line. It's about standing firm in a society that's collapsing under the pressure of wannabe gods. And it's about finally taking a stand for a belief. And for Sanji, who's always walked the tightrope between empathy and expectation, this would be the moment he stops walking and stands on business. Showing that Awakening CONQUEROR'S HAKI isn't just a power-up, it's a thematic culmination of everything he's been through. So picture this. Sommers is down. The fight is over. Sanji stands over him, and for a moment, Sanji has the option everyone expects. Deliver justice and finish him off. But instead of doing that, Sanji hesitates because this isn't about what Elbaf or the world expects, or what Sommers deserves, though his entire existence does deserve to get the Uno reverse card. It's about what Sanji believes in. In typical shonen fashion, this would be the part where the hero pulls out the PowerPoint on morality while bleeding from all their organs. But in Sanji's case, the PowerPoint would be more for himself than Sommers, because fuck that guy, am I right? Let's think about what Sanji's gone through. His family rejected him, treated him like a failure, and pushed him to become a soldier, then forced him into a marriage alliance. He spent years proving that he wasn't what people said he was. So now, with the power and the right to fight back, the question becomes, will he act like the world wanted him to, or will he choose to stay true to himself? This is where the theory really clicks in, because by the end of the day, the conch is about standing for something. The conch is about refusing to compromise. The conch is very wise indeed. And if the arc has been about different characters trying to prove what it means to be a king or a legend in Elbaf, then Sanji's version is simple. Real strength doesn't mean hurting others. And it's this choice, Sanji choosing compassion over vengeance, connects back to one of the oldest parts of his character, the dream of the All Blue. At first, the All Blue just sounds like a cook's fantasy, a sea where fish from all four oceans gather. But if you look deeper, the All Blue is about more than just food. It's about unity, a place where things from different regions and different lives all exist together. That dream hits differently when you remember how Sanji grew up. Judge believed in separation, control, and bloodline superiority. Basically Nazi shit. To them, being strong meant erasing emotions. Sanji rejected that. He left their system and built his own values from scratch, with a little help from Zeph, of course. So when Sanji imagines the All Blue, I bet deep down he's imagining a world without those divisions, a place where no one is left out because of where they come from or who they are. There's always a place for you at the table, which, funny enough, is actually what Big Mom's dream was, or is, because, you know, she's still alive and just watch this video. Sanji's not the only one who thinks this way. In chapter 1139, Gaban discussed love. He said love is free, not something you could control. He pointed out that people of mixed backgrounds have existed throughout history, even if society doesn't always accept them. But in every era, there's always those who are open-minded. That idea perfectly matches Sanji's dream, and it makes sense why Gaban feels like a mirror of Sanji. Luffy even pointed out that Gaban is like an older version of Sanji, which makes sense, since Sanji is clearly written to be the left wing of Luffy, just as Gaban is the left hand of Roger. So back when we talked about how Sanji's willpower wouldn't look like Luffy's or Zoro's, there's something else worth revisiting. The idea that One Piece has been slowly redefining what it means to be a conqueror. If CONQUEROR'S HAKI is about imposing your will in a world built on myth and fear, then the real question is, what happens when the world's biggest myths are actually alive and protecting themselves, not just ideologically, but literally? Because if someone like Sanji can awaken his power by rejecting a myth, like the idea that strength means being a dick, what kind of power do you need to make people gaslight themselves into your bullshit? And that brings up a much bigger point. We know Imu has some kind of ability that's more or less about rewriting your entire existence, but maybe that ability isn't divine or mysterious, but the result of a mythical zone, which I talk about in this theory video here.
I'm aiming the album to fall off, it's pretty ironic. Shit ain't gon' fall off for me. Still in this bitch getting bigger. On the